The night had settled in, and a dense fog blanketed the small, isolated town where I lived. My name is Alex, and this is the story of the scariest night of my life. I had just moved into an old, creaky house on the outskirts of town. It was the kind of place that sent shivers down your spine just by looking at it. The windows were broken, and the yard was overgrown with weeds that seemed to reach out and grab at you as you walked by. But it was all I could afford, and I was desperate for a fresh start. As I unpacked my belongings, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every now and then, I'd catch a glimpse of movement out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned to look, there was nothing there. I chalked it up to nerves and exhaustion from the move. Night fell, and the wind outside howled like a tormented soul. I settled into bed, hoping to get a good night's sleep, but sleep eluded me that night. The strange noises grew louder, echoing through the house. It sounded like whispers, soft and sinister, right outside my bedroom door. With trembling hands, I mustered the courage to open the door, but the hallway was empty. I told myself it was just my imagination, that I was letting my fear get the best of me. I returned to bed, determined to ignore the eerie sounds. But as the night wore on, things got even stranger. The room grew colder, and I could see my breath in the air. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on grotesque shapes. I pulled the covers tight around me, praying for morning to come soon. Then, I heard footsteps. Heavy, deliberate footsteps, moving closer and closer to my bedroom. Panic coursed through me as I realized there was no one else in the house. I had locked all the doors and windows before going to bed. The door to my room slowly creaked open, revealing nothing but darkness beyond. I strained my eyes, trying to make out any shapes, but there was nothing to see. Fear gripped me like a vice, paralyzing me. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a tall, gaunt man with sunken eyes that gleamed with malevolence. His skin was pallid, and his clothes were tattered and stained. He moved closer, his breath raspy and labored. I couldn't move, couldn't scream. I was trapped in my own terror. He spoke in a whisper, a voice that sent chills down my spine. "You shouldn't have come here," he hissed. "This house belongs to me, and you are not welcome." I finally found my voice, stammering, "Who are you? What do you want?" He chuckled, a sound that made my blood run cold. "I am the darkness that dwells in this place, the malevolence that haunts these walls. I want nothing more than to watch you suffer." With that, he lunged at me, his bony fingers wrapping around my throat. I gasped for air, clawing at his hands, but it was no use. The room spun, and my vision faded to black. When I awoke, it was morning, and the sun's rays streamed through the windows. I was alone in my room, safe and unharmed. It felt like a twisted dream, a nightmare that had come to life. But as I got out of bed and made my way downstairs, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed. The house felt different, as if it had absorbed the darkness from the night before. I knew I couldn't stay there any longer. I packed my belongings and left that accursed house behind, never looking back. I don't know who or what that sinister presence was, but one thing was certain. I had experienced the scariest night of my life, and I would never forget the terror that had gripped me in that haunted place.